Whoa. What up? How is it going, gang? It's been a hot minute. This summer has been completely outrageous for me. But oh damn it. I'll be right back. Give me a second. This is a fake start. Okay, now it's real. We're good, chat. Okay. There we go. Okay. Hello, chat. It's been a while. This summer has been completely outrageous for me, but I'm back. And I noticed, I was just looking through lists, not really super sure what I wanted to try out. I knew I wanted to have at least a Cloak and Dagger on my list. I enjoyed playing with that card last league, but I wasn't sure what else I wanted to do. And then I noticed that Yoshi Wada's current list is pretty heavy on the 2-drop. So you found room to play 3 White Orchid Phantoms in addition to the 4 Thalias. These cards are like the Canoptic Scarab Swarm. From the last list I played, it was a Canoptic Scarab Swarm, a Disruptor Flute, and then the second Cloak and Dagger, which I think is like more accurately like the 3rd Skyclave Apparition. It was kind of interesting to me. I'm not sure that I believe in White Orchid Phantom right now as a card, but I also understand the tendency right now to just play as many cheap cards as possible. I'm I'm willing to try it. So we'll see how it goes. And then our sideboards are literally a single card off. I don't believe in Mind Break Trap, but he is playing a Mind Break Trap instead of my second Surgical Extraction. And that is the only difference. So, yeah. And I got a late start. So we are going right in. There's Legacy Leagues. Let's do it. Anyway, while we're waiting for that, yeah, so I'm trying to think of like what decks White Orchid Phantom is actually good against. So if we look at like this real quick, I see it as like it's bad against tempo, not really what you want against energy. It's okay against Delver. The more you, I would say at 3 copies, it's probably a bit worse because it's the kind of card that you really want to resolve as many times as possible. Decent against Eldrazi. I assume they're still on the 1 basic, but it's okay against initiative just for, oh god, just for the sake of like having a flying attacker to take the initiative with. Let me see. I don't think it's good at all in this, in like the, it's a lot of Jeskai decks, but I'm thinking more like the Riddler lists. Yeah, those are those decks are on a ton of basics. Very good against lands, and it's very good against like Post and Tron. But I haven't really seen those decks. Notably, if it, I guess people have been playing the blue Post list, right? This is this isn't Post. This is Mystic Forge. Um, it is good, but it is good there. I assume most Fantastic Car lists are like either Reanimator or Doomsday. Wizard 2002. I think they usually play Storm or some kind of combo deck from what I remember. I got a Thalia. I'll keep it. Oh boy. I just started Moto and I already have to restart. Uh-oh. It's feeling a little bit sticky. Ancient Tomb Chromux. Are they playing Initiative? Smells like Initiative so far. It is Initiative. Okay, cool. Come on. There we go. Yeah, this is oof. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, I would rather do this right now. Whiff. Of course. Red, okay. Just playing Caves of Chaos Adventure then. And I'll wish that I had a creature in play. No, okay. Witch Enchanter. I can live with that. All right, goodbye to Aether Vial. I can live with that. You really didn't want another Thalia. I think I just want a Lion Sash so I can have the biggest potential threat. Bombardiers, okay. Not looking too hot for me right now. This comes into play tapped anyway. I don't not need another lands. Am I just dead here? I guess we'll see. Six. Yeah, I'm super dead. Okay. Well, could not have had a worse draw in that matchup for sure. We'll bring in some erodes. I'll bring in a containment priest. I do not want these Thalias at all. I'm gonna try bringing. I'm pretty sure I want a Wrath over a Thalia. I guess maybe not, but I'm pretty sure that's true. Sometimes just having creatures is important, but I don't know if Thalia is worth it over something that could potentially, like Wrath for 3 can be really good in the matchup. So. Since they're red and they're playing Bombardiers, I want to keep Formal Wares in. Yeah, we'll go with this. If this had any untapped land, I'd feel a lot better about it. I guess no, I have the Witch Enchanter. I wasn't looking right. Yeah, I guess I am keeping this. I'm glad I looked again. Let's play this. Getting the Vial into play right away, I think, is too important, even if it means that my turn 2 might be pretty whatever. Ooh, they have a tapped Witch Blessed Meadow. That's good for me. Oh my god, this is so bad. Yeah, getting black mana into play is too important here. It, like, kinda sucks to play a tapped land here, but do I want this? They're not likely to be a wasteland deck, so I think that I wanna get rid of this because this is a hand that can operate pretty well on not very much mana, so I think I wanna capitalize on that. Actually, an argument for keeping it would have been that it would let me go Thoughtseize into plus Overlord next turn, whereas right now I have to decide between one or the other. All right, what are they choosing? I figured it was going to be Source of Plowshares makes a lot of sense. Okay. I think I want to do the Thoughtseize first because I can always Overlord next turn and I'll just have my Felia in play too. So let's go for Thoughtseize first. Whoa, okay. At least good, pretty good chance that my Felia will not get messed with, which is good. I assume this is going to be a Seasoned Engineer. Yes. Planes in their hands. I feel like a third basic is pretty unlikely here. So I think I just want to erode this, plow the Seasoned Engineer, Violin, Felia. They do have 3 basics, annoying. But they are okay, they're over it. Works for me. Okay. Um, my opponent has 3 basics, huh? This hand's, like, okay, but it's quite bad against Seasoned Engineer. It might be, like, just okay enough against anything else. I'll try it. Is this really turn 1 Seasoned Engineer? Could be Caves of Chaos Adventurer. I guess I forgot they have Caves of Chaos Adventurer too, so. Well, I can get a creature into play in 2 turns. And I mean, there are this hand is basically as good as a hand like this, as good a hand as I possibly could against a draw like this, right? Like, there is no way for me to have a creature in play on turn 1 and no way to stop the Caves of Chaos Adventure from being cast. So, like, it is what it is. I'll take the Trinisphere, and I think we're going to easily pitch this Formal Wear here. See if they choose to go Forge or Lost Well. I assume they'll go Lost Well. Forge here is so bad. Yeah, okay. Two bottom. Okay. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. I feel like killing the Cavern is like fixing their mana for them. So I will just turn this into a swamp. If they play like Magus to punk me, then I'll still be able to cast an Overlord off the top or whatever. My opponent says should have played the 3-ball. I'm guessing that the 3-ball was the other card in their opener. They played that or played Coca instead of that. I think that's probably correct. They should have played Coca instead. All right, the initiative is mine. Let's grab Meteor Sword. And then I'll Surveil. I guess this is actually a pretty low value Surveil since I'm assuming I'm going to Lost Well here. So if the card on top is good, then it's kind of a waste. What is this? They do have a Coca. Okay. Well, that was a good draw for them. I gotta find something now. This one's brutal because it's like, it's good, but it's not what I need right now. Because, like, I basically have 2 mana already dedicated to putting the Meteor Sword into play, because I have to kill the Caves of Chaos Adventurer. So I really need, like, another removal spell, another 2 mana creature, something like that. So I think I have to actually mill the Surveil the Overlord, unfortunately. Okay. We're good. Those are pretty good. And I guess Witch Enchanter I don't need, but I'm going to put Flicker Wisp on top. I could have played the Aether Vial there. Oh well. All right, cool. All right, I need to restart my moto. It's going very slow. Music, why are you doing that? There we go. You can do a moto. I believe in you. There we go. Okay. Any day. This feels like it's been the longest a minute and 39 seconds. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. How you doing, chat? Hope you're all having a good evening. Oh, oh, perhaps. Good one. Good one. I like it. Yeah. We can roll with this. Basic swamp, basic plains. Thoughtseize on the play. My moto appears to be at least a little bit faster. Still feels a little choppy, but it might just be normal moto choppy. Oh hell yeah, blue black is easy. Kaito because it's the only card that matters. Yeah, cool. Have fun. I assume it takes Felia. Could be Sword Splashers though. I guess they have force too. They have a little bit of freedom. Okay, they take value. Okay, it's a lot of 3 drops. I would like to draw another basic planes. Another basic planes would be cool. I'm not in too much of a hurry to be like surveilling here, but might be in a turn or two. We'll see. I imagine they were deciding whether it was worth it to cast Bowmasters here or to do something else. DNC soon to be back post car. Yeah, I mean, yes. I don't think our matchup against any card deck is particularly good. I mean, mostly because it's just a plan B in all of the matchups that were already bad. It's like plan B for Doomsday, plan B for Mystic Forge, etc., etc. Hell yeah. I think I'm going to start with Cloak and Dagger. Sure. But yeah, I think if Carr is gone, I guess it depends what Tron really looks like after, um, like with. It depends what Tron looks like after Carr is gone, but once we've like figured out what those lists look like without Candle, they probably look basically the same though. So I don't know. More realistically, it's how popular are they? I think is the real question. Mono Bluetron, it's not good. Um, I think that it's probably better than the colorless Tron lists, but it's not good. You still die to Ugin, so I don't know exactly what what the current Bluetron list looks like. To be fair, I haven't been playing a ton, but um, resolves. Let me take a quick look at this. So while my pun's doing that, if we look at this here, what I see is it's a lot of counter spells. 2 basic islands could be worse, but it's not good. But yeah, it's a lot of Karns and One Rings and Ugins, and these cards are pretty tough. I think the biggest like thing that we don't know about this matchup is what it looks like now that we have Erode, but like Erode is a card that will get forced a lot, so it's a little complicated. I am gonna get a Stoneforge. Easy Stoneforge. All right, that brainstorm was a huge tempo hit for them, and they cannot afford to be giving me this much time, so. That's certainly my hope. But I was surprised at how much Tron there was still through as much like Cutter as there was. Um, Maybe there's just like more to it than I'm realizing, but I was like very surprised at how much Cutter was around or how much Tron could still just kind of smush Cutter. Um, uh, when Candelabra is in the picture. And maybe without Candle, it just changes enough about that, but I don't know. I just don't know what that matchup looks like for anybody else. Other than that, it was fucked up. All right, give me a land so I can Overlord for Stoneforge. Nice. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, this game is roughly over. Fatal Push? Sure. Boo. I was wondering if you were around. Yeah, I did. I did add this to the playlist. Yo, Eli, we're swarming with Anjin fans. Let's go. We're just gonna Stoneforge again. They will not beat this loop, so you got it. I will just keep getting a card from my graveyard. 4/4 lifelink, recruit for something else. I guess whatever is in their hands, I do not care what it is. So I'm not going to bother Cloak and Dagger. If it was a threat, they would have played it. If it's a counter spell, it's bad. And if it's a removal spell, then it's just going to kill my Cloak and Dagger with the trigger on the stack. So, let's get a Flicker Wisp, whatever. I love these games too because I always win them. I'm like, this goes out to anybody. If you ever get sick of being beaten by Demir Tempo, I have a good plan for you. I would guess that this is my personal experience. Yours might vary. I'm pretty sure my matchup against blue black is solidly above 80%. I think it might be like 85 or higher. Cooking brisket? Hell yeah. Yeah, yeah, this game is so over. They had like one turn where if they had a Kaito, it could have been possible for them to win. Now it's nowhere close. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's bring in a Rhodes. I didn't see Nethergoyfs, but I'm pretty sure Nethergoyfs are normal right now. Let's do a quick check. What's you given playing? Yeah, some Nethergoyfs. Yeah, Kaito was only going to be good if they like Kaito'd into Force of Will to protect it. Like they needed to be like that, like specifically that kind of sequence. Um, um, let's do something like that. Let's do board into Wrath of the Skies. Yeah, that's good. Seems fine. Tamio? Ponder? Nothing? Okay. I'm kind of tempted to just wasteland them, but that's definitely not right. Um, well, if they didn't do anything on this turn, I don't care if they wasteland this. So, um, do I want this? Yeah, I do. If they turn one ponder shuffle, I wasteland. If they just ponder and then draw, then no. The secret of most tempo matchups, and for blue black, it's especially true. 95% of the time, if you're thinking about wastelanding, it's wrong. Okay. There is Lagoif. I'm just gonna play around days here. I'll probably plow the Goif, play like a Tamio or another Goif. I'll do that instead. I'm only gonna plow the Goif before combat if they play a third lands, because then that represents Kaito. If they go to attacks with 3 mana up, I should say. Yeah. I know I've heard of the fried liver in chess. I don't know what it is, but I'm amused regardless. Force pitching a daze. This has to be for a Kaito. No way. They're just that desperate? Okay. Okay. That makes a bit more sense. Um, is this a cloak and dagger moment? Hmm. I think it is. I'll go Caracas. I'm going to fetch basic swamp here. Thoughts on the birthing ritual list? I think it's a cool. I think it's neat, but I feel like the birthing ritual list is really just playing into D&T's existing strengths and addresses none of its weaknesses. Consign, sure. That is so okay. That's fine. Is this on purpose? Or did they just not read that this has death touch? No way to know. Mm. This feels like it's they could have like a snuff out in their hands that they couldn't use on the cloak and dagger. They could have a Kaito that they guess they would have had to draw the Kaito like a turn ago because they had a point where they could put it in. It could be a Bowmaster's. Bowmaster's snuff out a recent Kaito. When I'm under no pressure, I'm really tempted to just flute Kaito right now. Because there's just so few other cards that like really get me here. Because if it was a sorcery speed threat like a Murktide, they would have already. Yeah, I'm. All signs right now are pointing me towards the conclusion that I don't know if Kaito's in their hands, but I know Kaito is the only card that I would care about if it was in their hands. So I'm just gonna let them Bowmaster me, or they're doing the thing. Okay. That's a bummer. Goodbye, Overlord. What? Huh? What? What? I don't even want that in my hand. Huh? Okay. What happens when I do this? Okay. And now the engine begins. We have a million lands. So right now I am okay using one of them to wasteland. I'm really confused. Yeah, they haven't used a surveil yet. Okay. I mean, I guess that's one way this can go. Let's see if this resolves. I played around Days last turn. I didn't play around at the turn before that. Days here really only matters if they kill my Stoneforge and have a Wasteland, and I Wasteland, which is a pretty wild combination of things to happen. So yeah. Boo. Is that the third Thoughtseize? No, it's just the second. I'll just draw Meteor Sword. It's fine. I mean, that's pretty good too. This, I believe, is going to get a Skyclave. I could get a Solitude, but Solitude is a little weak to Wasteland and Daze, and Skyclave is better if they like have Tameo Brainstorm, something like that. So I'll go for Skyclave because I think it's a slightly safer play. I'm not Wastelanding now because the scenario's changed a little bit. I don't want to get another Stoneforge because I don't actually have a great answer to the Goyf in my yard right now. I guess now I do. Okay, Massacre makes sense. I am winning. I'm winning pretty good right now. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Skyclave the Tameo Overlord will become a creature in 1 turn. Notably, if I didn't use one of those wastelands, I could pick up Yori on here too. Wasteland is a real cost, and it's not really hurt me here that much, but that's, part of the reason that using Wasteland in matchups like this is just often wrong. I already forgot what I said. Is what why I'm winning? Um, we're going in. They don't really have answers to Overlord that aren't at least 2 mana. So, oh, it's one of the many reasons, but yes. Oh, I could have attacked there after the Wastelands, but ooh, interesting. All right. How long have I been playing around days? um, is days even in their deck? They've been through half of it. They've cast a single ponder. So I guess I could be making the same argument that Brainstorm's not in their deck. Um I guess the thing is if they have days for Yorion, I just pick it up with the Overlord. So I think we're fine here. I can just trump block with the Skyclave. It's fine. The reason not to seize before attacking is because I'm at a low life total, and there's very few cards that actually matter in the combat step. All right, cool. They're over it. Like that consign changed things, but it didn't mean that my opponent suddenly was winning. They were still extremely behind. But I also wanted the opportunity to spend as much of my mana casting creatures after picking something up with Overlord. Like I could pick up the Stoneforge with the Overlord, get a Formal Wear, cast the Formal Wear, do something else, etc., etc. So casting that Thoughtseize before attacking cuts off a lot of lines without actually knowing whether or not my opponent has anything in hand that matters. Yeah, I thought of that after I clicked resolve or clicked OK. I think you can probably just reset the flute onto. I would probably do fatal push because snuff out doesn't really matter. They've already shown they don't have days. So yeah, I think I would probably name fatal push there. They're a double Q in chat. Tuck in. Mm, Seems a lot worse on the draw than it is on the play, but I don't know if it's worth mulliganing. My opponent mulled to 6 also. Tropical island, you say? Lauren? Okay. Let's see what end step brainstorm means for me. Learn or show and tell? It is show and tell. No, it's stock up. Okay, that's different. Let's surveil for Thoughtseize or something like that. Thalia wouldn't be bad. I guess it would kind of be bad here, huh? Just kidding. I do want that. Do I want to play a Caracas here? Yeah, I think I do. Nice. That is a good sign. Getting a meteor sword into our hands is pretty big in this matchup. They are going for Alurin. Okay. Do you have force? They do have force. Well, we did what we could. Let's bring in flutes, erode, surgical extraction. These Thalias are really bad. These White Orchid Phantoms are not much better. I probably just have to leave it at that. Silence isn't good. It's tough because like these Thalias are bad on the Allurin turns, but they're good. Like they might be important enough for just slowing things down before that. So maybe it's like the White Orchid Phantom's worse. I don't need this. Okay, I can board out other cards and keep the some Thalias in. Um, mm, in my experience, these games are like literally never about Felia. I never get the opportunity for Felia to do like anything, so we'll try that. Um, yeah, this works. They're mulling to 6. Nice. That answers the question I had for myself on this turn, which was whether we get Meteor Sword into our hands or hold up mana for Disruptor Flute. Well, sometimes you just gotta draw your card for turn first. Keep a card on top. Interesting. That is very interesting. So, I'm pretty sure I let that resolve, and then I cast a flute they can't counter on my turn, naming a Rack, and I only have to worry about like omniscience, and then like the meteor sword basically handles the rest of the deck. Yeah, I will keep that because I mean I would like to have a land here, but I think surveilling there was more important than putting Felia into play, personally. Nice. Okay. I think I'm just using this as a lands, but I get to think about it, which is cool. Because I think I want to Violin Recruiter, get Cloak and Dagger them, and then I can Felia a couple different things from there. Um, let's start with this. They can force something. They can tap out to force if they want to. Looks like that is what they're going to do. Force pitches, show and tell. I'm keeping the flute on a Serac is still the right play. What do I get with this? I would recruit for my formal wear if I could, but I could get Thalia here. I think it's Thalia or Witch Enchanter. Because I could see just like the most value here actually just being getting another land, but I think I like having the option to Thalia. Because the fourth land next turn isn't actually that impactful. Unless I have another 2-drop. And now I have a 2-drop and I could top deck a land and that would be sick, so. Cool, they're over it. Alright, I feel like I navigated that one really well. Yeah, no changes. That was an interesting choice for my opponent to board in defense grid. I hadn't seen that against the Lawrence Hell, but it makes sense when winning the Allurin battles are actually a lot harder because I can actually use Allurin a lot better than they can. Sand looks pretty good. My opponent mulled to 6 for the 3rd time. They mulled to 5. Oh. Capped on top again. Hello, friend. How are you doing? Okay, stock up. I don't have to make any decisions. I was worried this would be a nightmare of a hands to figure out um what to put in off of a show and tell. Thankfully, my opponent is excuse me. My opponent is not presenting me with that conundrum, so yeah, I do want lands here. That might have been a bad surveil. I guess there are a decent number of spells I would have gotten rid of. Um, is this is it Thalia or Meteor Sword? So if I get Meteor Sword, let's think back to what happened in the first game. I got Meteor Sword, my opponent lured me, and I died. Um, in this case, my opponent would also need to have an extra mana in order to kill me the same way, because they would basically need to have a Lurin land, a Sararak Force blue card. I guess it doesn't have to be land, it could be any mana source, because they wouldn't be able, unless they have the lands, they can't cast force through the Thalia that I can also put into play off of the Allurin before I cast my Solitude on the Sararak. Um I think for that reason, I should I'm just gonna get a Meteor Sword for show and tell reasons. All right, cool. That's a lot of mana. Okay. So now we're looking at Thalia versus Disruptor Flute. Um, 2 Ancient Tombs is a lot, but I also need to get a threat into play. This actually this Thalia is pretty sick if they like need to cast a cantrip. So I think Thalia is the right play here. They just flood in? They might be flooding chat. I'm just gonna attack. Now we have like so much interaction up. We have Meteor Sword for any show and tell nonsense. We have um we have Flute for a Sararak. We have Solitude for a Sararak. We also have Swords for a Sararak if we need to. So the Surgical is basically just replacing a bad card with the chance of basically with the possibility of taking a card out of their deck. Um, One of the complications, as you can hear from me talking through all of these lines, is that it's really hard to know which part of their deck that I should be playing around. And if I get to, for example, Thoughtseize a Show and Tell and Surgical it, and I just have to think about the Alurin lines, then it simplifies a lot of what I'm trying to do. I am only doing it because I have cards in my deck that are just like basically useless. I didn't play Flicker Wisp onto the Stoneforge in the second main because I'm holding up Disruptor Fleet right now. They might be casting Atraxa next turn. Uh-oh. I mean, that's fine too. They take 4, 5, they're taking 6 to cast it, and then it just bounce it. Right now, I have enough stuff in play that right now my focus is on not dying. And for that reason, I want to keep Disruptor Flute in my hands for whatever nonsense might end up happening. And now I have another one. I can only use one of them because of the Thalia right now, but... Oh, yeah. Yeah, Flute having Flash is a big, big part of it. They forgot to... They are casting Atraxa. They didn't fetch. They do gotta fetch. They gotta fetch twice if they want to avoid taking 4 damage off of the Ancient Tombs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. They're taking 4. They're going to... God. They're struggling. Okay. Okay. Blue, green. Green, blue, colorless, colorless, white, blah, 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 black. I guess I could have done that. It would have forced them to take 2 extra damage off of the Ancient Tomb, and then they'd be dead here. Yeah. I should have thought of that. Whoops. Yep. Nope. Fair point. Or I guess they would have not had the mana to even cast it. Yeah, because they would be 1 off of casting it. No, no, you're not crazy. I was just miscounting. That's a hell of a pile. This might be the first Atraxa I've ever seen that did not reveal a land. Yeah, I think we're gonna win anyway, but I think fluting Atraxa was the right choice because it just simplifies the game a lot. Okay, because the game's just over. Alurin defense grid. Okay, so they didn't take Lotus Petal. They took Show and Tell, Force, so no Brainstorm, and they took a Sarax and no Atraxa, and no Emrakul. So those are the cards in their hands, and they can't cast the Force for like multiple reasons. So I believe what we're gonna do is we will go to their end step. Yeah. Um I'm gonna swan just in case. We flute. If they cast the Force, they die. So they can't cast the Force. So I will name. And once I attack, they can't use their Ancient Tombs. So I think I'm naming Show and Tell here. Name Show and Tell. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have the rest covered. So we name Show and Tell. Bounce the Atraxa. Send it back to them. They have to discard 2 cards. They, yep, Force and the Atraxa I just bounced. Another Solitude, okay. So they need a land to even cast, or no, they can't cast Show and Tell. They would need. I'm wondering if I am supposed to Meteor Sword the Hedge Maze right now. I think I am supposed to do that. It means that I can't cast the second Disruptor Flute, which is maybe a real thing. But I can't imagine it is because when they can't cast Show and Tell because it costs 1,000,000,000 mana, the only thing they can do is Alurin. And a Sararak against, or a Flute on the Sararak would probably be a lock. But also, after I Meteor Sword the Hedge Maze, if they go for a Sararak, I have 2 Solitudes and a Swords that I can cast. And they will have no way to defend themselves. I could even like Surgical the Force if I wanted to. Yeah, okay. I am going to Meteor Sword the Hedge Maze. Because they need like exactly City of Traders Show and Tell put in the Allure and a Sararak me. I think we are splitting hairs too, but every time I think that I have a really bad tendency against Allure and Tell in particular of like thinking that I'm safe and then I'm just not. So I really wanted to think through it. That'll be some good content. Just me talking too much about decisions that don't matter. All right. Match 4. Last seen playing Reanimator, huh? And I lost the die roll. Sick. Ooh boy. Nope. I will keep this. Put back. What do I want to put back here? In the blind, I'm pretty sure I would put back the White Orchid Phantom too. So, yeah. Mulling to 4. Okay. Another Solitude. I'm gonna go for Swamp just in case. I'm guessing this is Reanimator, but just in case. Ooh, let's get rid of that Animate Dead. They were shockingly close. I will get Lion Sash with my Stone Forge and force them to unmask me. I just gotta hope to draw a land. Yep. Unmask pitching the Atraxa. Goodbye, Lion Sash. Another land. Okay. Is this okay? Just surveilling. Okay. Do they draw a reanimate? Well, no. If they drew a reanimate, they would just gone for Atraxa there. So, ooh. Oh, my opponent's playing Shallow Grave. It's like, why does this matter? Oh, right. All right, land next turn, please. That's a lot of tap lands. There we go. And they're over it. Cool. Okay, one game when he gets Reanimator. That doesn't happen all that often. Let's board in all of these cards. We don't want White Orchid Phantoms. We can board out a Plains. We can board out a Thalia, a Flicker Wisp. Maybe no, I should keep Flicker Wisp in. I want to board out Skyclaves. Although I maybe want to keep one Skyclave in too. So annoying. Let's see. The second formal wear doesn't have as much utility as the first. I'm just gonna board out and overlords can sort of be used against me. And I'm boarding out 1, 2, 3. I'm already boarding out 5 creatures, only bringing in 1, so the overlords aren't going to be that good anyway. This boarding is harder than it. I feel like this is harder than it used to be. Am I missing something really dumb? I guess this Cloak and Dagger would have been a Canoptic Scarab Swarm that it would have cut. Well, no, the White Orchid Phantom was that. I saw it was 2 Undercity Sewers and a Raucous Theater, so access to blue and red. They very rarely come down to Felia Mattering. I'm pretty okay cutting another one. Maybe I trim like a Vial. Yeah, Witherbloom Apprentice is pretty unlikely. I'll trim like a Thalia, I guess. I'm not really sold on trimming Thalia, but I just needed to make a decision. Imagine my opponent thought seizes this hand. Okay, here we go. Now we're cooking. Keep this, put a vial on the bottom. My opponent's already on 5 cards. Um, yeah, no show and tell. They sideboarded into Dauthi Voidwalkers that I really don't care about all that much, but good for them. I mean, it does help sometimes, honestly. Um, I will play Deafening Silence just to be safe. Did they just... They get Thoughtseize bugged? No, okay. Okay. Phew. All right, now I just have to non-tie to the Voidwalker. We did get Entomb bugged, Joe. Bummer that we... What if there's maybe an argument for surveilling instead of playing the Wasteland last turn? Because we would not have the Vial in play, basically. Because it means that this Flicker would actually be able to, like, do something. As it stands, I think we are untapping the Wastelands in this case. Wow, broken. Come on, action. The main reason to go after the second blue source was that I don't know what red cards are in their deck, and I know they have show and tell. So if I there's like a pretty slim, but I think like I would rather give myself the possibility of drawing another wasteland, hitting their second blue source, and then being at the point where it's not even possible for them to show and tell me. All right, we're gonna keep the vial on 3. Come on, deck. Now we're cooking. Okay. It's gonna be okay. Um Skyclaver Cloak and Dagger. There's like there's like no shot they even have removal in their deck, right? You just be mono white and reanimate. Hell yeah. Okay. Well, you can only thought seize yourself because I have deafening silence in play, so we're fine. Cool. All right. Trophy match. Oh, I get uh, the sample size is only like 3, but I think I have gotten Dothy Voidwalkered in every match I've played against Reanimator recently. I don't know what it is, but people love. They cannot get enough boarding in Voidwalker against a deck with nothing but removal. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it, but that has been my experience. Look, from the grief era to today, unless they're on the Witherbloom package, obviously, but, like, I think any Reanimator deck that had Voidwalker in their sideboard, they brought it in, basically every single time. I think they shouldn't, but they sure did. Oh, yeah, that part too. I'm not necessarily saying that, like, every deck has it, but at least I think, like, the past 3 matches I've played, it has been brought in every time. Um, mm, Seems a little bit wastelandable. I have two ways. I'll try it. We'll just open on basic swamp, I think. Okay. Nice. That's a good one. Okay, what do you got? Maybe I should have played Scrubland anyway, so I could surveil, but I feel like I basic plans in play is too important. This tells you something about the Delver list. They can't even trust their Delvers to float. Show me. Ponder. Okay. I am definitely going to be casting this recruiter into a daze, um, for a number of reasons. Um, I'm under no pressure, and it's important to make my, especially against, because this matchup is specifically so much about cutter. It's actually quite valuable to make your opponent use dazes before they have like a cutter in play, because now they have to have a 0 in order for their cutter to make a token. Whoa, that's aggressive. That's wild. The other reason is that I have this formal wear that I think I am now going to use. I think. Yeah. Yeah. See, they didn't even use the days; they had to force. Like, that's so big. The other walk is this cutter into a 0? Yeah, okay. I hope I draw lands because then I can just Witch Enchanter the cutter, which would feel pretty good. Otherwise, I will Skyclave it. Yep, there we go. Flow state, yeah. Bummer. I feel like I'm gonna have to swords this monk token anyway. I don't think I take this block. Okay. I could hold a plow, or I could just put Yorion in my hand here. I think I'm gonna put Yorion in my hands. It's a Volk into their graveyard. Okay. So they have another Volk and an islands for fetchable lands. Okay. Um, do I force the spell out of them now? Yeah, I think I do. Yep. That's kind of what I figured it would be. And I kind of would prefer this bolt just being on my face now as opposed to being in their hands for forever. Okay. Let's go ahead and Skyclave the. Do I want to? I think I need to Skyclave the DRC. You usually want to keep it for Cutter when you can, but I don't think I can really afford to do that right now. Overlord might fix that for me anyway, so there's that too. And then is the third brainstorm. Oh, just got to ponder through it. Okay. Why didn't they fetch first? What's on their? They shuffled anyway. Hmm, that's weird. Um. Yeah, I'm just gonna. I think I'm gonna have the engine from Overlord soon, so I kind of want to just keep my life total high, so I can't get like, so we don't get into like double bull range or whatever. Oh. How many days have they cast? It's one, and then one got pitched to a force. I was trying to decide if I want to like cast a 3-drop. So I could cast a 3-drop. I could pick up a 3-drop and hold it, or I could grab Thalia or White Orchid. I'll probably get Thalia and then Violet in their upkeep if that's what I was gonna do. But Thalia has the risk of like being really bad if their follow up is like flow state because they don't like have an engine going. Whereas if I get Skyclave or Recruiter or something like that. I guess what I could do if I pick up Recruiter, yeah, I think I should go for pick up Recruiter, cast it. If it gets dazed, that sucks, but it means that it's pretty likely that I can cast my Yorion next turn and it will resolve. And then we just blink the Overlord, get the Recruiter or something else again while we have the Vial on too. So yeah, I think we go for Recruiter here. I think I can't play safe. And if this Recruiter resolves, we get a Stoneforge, and then things are looking real sick. I guess I could also get a Thalia with this Recruiter if I wanted to. Gets a force, pitching a Prismari Charm. That works too. That's basically the same thing. Again, just making sure if I can cast my Yorion next turn, it makes getting that spell countered feel a bit better. They're picking up a flow state with this Mystic Sanctuary. Okay, good to know they have Sanctuary. I don't know if that's normal. It probably is, but land here would be nice to play around days at least. That is not actually very good, but I guess it's okay. I could. That might be enough for me to just wait, because I can, if the monk gets bigger than a 1/1, I can just use the plow on it. I can Skyclave a cutter. If they had Murktide, they would have cast it here, but they could have flow stated into a cutter that they aren't casting because they want to cast it with a spell right behind it, and they'd already cast the flow state that turn. So I think I actually like holding here. And if they don't cast a cutter, then Skyclip will just block the 1/1 illusion. But I feel like they passed because they picked up a cutter, and now they want to go like cutter ponder or whatever. And if they didn't because they picked up like protection spells, then okay. Um, I will. Okay, they're over it. Cool. Okay. Phew. They had things going there for a while, but could not keep it up for long enough. What do I even? Okay, I'm gonna board out a Wrath or a Felia and an Overlord, and then I don't know what I cut after that. I guess It's weird because I feel like when White Orchid Phantom gets going against Is It, it's like outrageous. um, but I probably can't just get the way things are. Oh, right, my thoughtseize. That's what I'm missing. There we go. And I'll keep Ophelia in. I forgot about my thoughtseize. There we go. Also, I forgot deafening silence. I've heard some people have been having success with deafening silence in this matchup because of how much Cutter is like the best threat in their deck by a lot. Um, although I probably don't want it against my opponent having Delver of Secrets specifically. When they have more creatures, I think that's a more dubious choice. But some lists are on like 4 DRC, 2 Murktide or whatever. And I think it's different when your deck has like twice as many removal spells as they have threats, when you can put when deafening silence keeps the Cutter from mattering. We're gonna mulligan this. This is great. What do we even want to get rid of? Jeez, I want all of this. Uh, it's it might have to be White Orchid Phantom, but I really don't want it to be. But White Orchid is my best card here against Cutter, just because on the draw, Wrath on 2 is pretty far away, especially in the face of Dazes and Wastelands. And I kind of want White Orchid to turn this Caracas into a basic. I could see getting rid of the Wastelands. We're on the draw, and this hand is pretty cheap. So, like, I think I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. Okay. Deal. Excuse me. I think this is going to flip soon. Maybe I was supposed to kill this in response to the brainstorm, but I'll do it now because I'm going to be casting White Orchid Phantom on my turn. Okay. And actually, if they use a spell to protect it and then I just go, like, if they daze it and then I play White Orchid Phantom, that would be pretty good for me too. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that instead of the White Orchid. And it resolves. Nice. I guess they would have had to draw a days off of that bauble. You got it. This is looking pretty good for me. Let's just turn this into a basic plains. Got him. Jeez. Okay. Only get one card off of that at least. No sorceries. Okay. That is better. I think we're just chilling. Yeah, we're just chilling. I feel like I might have to erode this monk token, but we'll see how much damage they're through. Fuck. Yikes. Because I would certainly much rather try to Wrath for 2. Do I erode my White Orchid Phantom? um, I don't think so. I think that would be a bit of a throw. I think I'm going to take this. Yeah, and then Delver of Secrets. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to take my draw step. Okay. Do I Wrath for 1 or do I Wrath for 2? My opponent has not used a counter spell once. I think I don't think we're winning a game where we Wrath for 1. That might be a fair outlook here. I guess if like yeah, no, I think you're right. Okay. Oh, the basics. The basics just keep coming. I think I just slammed this solitude now, right? Yeah. Okay, now they drew the days. Well, I have the erode at least. Hey, it's cool. I cast my solitude, and now that they can't consign my erode. It's all according to plan. Okay. Annoying that I now drew this, but whatever. It is what it is. I should do this in their upkeep. They can force it. They have consign right now. Consign. They hit me for 4. I can cast the solitude. They hit me for 1. There, they hit me down to 1. Do I need to evoke this solitude here? I could also just cast Yorion next turn. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. Okay, opponent's flooding. They haven't used their surveil land yet, so that is worth noting. Mm. So that Overlord has the nice benefit of getting me a White Orchid Phantom to block as well and making the Yorions better. But I guess no, because the Overlord just gets consigned. Never mind. I'm just casting the Yorion still. Right. Mystic Sanctuary. I keep forgetting they have that. Oh yeah, being able to get the lifelink is going to be huge. No question about that. All right, so the hand is consign, and now consign in flow state, and now it is consign, and then whatever these 2 cards are. This Meteor Sword really would feel better as a white card right now, that's for sure. Brutal. Okay, any white card. That's not a white card. I believe we are dead, but let's see if my opponent lets this resolve for some reason. Maybe they think this is bait. Yeah, bummer. I just needed that to be a white card. Okay. There's so many white cards here, too. Come on. This hand is fine. Yeah. If you're playing mono white overlord, you would have even been. I won't think about it. Thank you. I'm all good thinking about that possibility. Does it make 2 1s? It's a 4/4 that makes like 2/1 flyer or something like that. Ooh, they already have the island. Ho ho. Yeah, that's what I thought. What do I want to do here? If I didn't have to pay 3 to get another white source in play, then I would get a Skyclave. I could just get a Solitude. I could get a Stoneforge. I could get Cloak and Dagger. That feels pretty weak, though. It feels weak into, like, a full hand, specifically. I could get a White Orchid Phantom with the intent to Stone Rain my opponent next turn. That might be worth bolting myself for, especially because it blocks the Delver, but it'll feel pretty bad if my opponent hits me to 15 and then I put myself to 12 just to Stone Rain them when I don't know what's going on. Solitude is probably the safest, but it doesn't feel right. I guess the nice thing about Solitude is that I can just pick it right back up with the Overlord, so it won't feel too bad if I have to use it right away here. I think so, yeah. The more I think about it, the more I think Solitude is right. Nice. I'm telling you, Delver sucks in this deck. People gotta cut it. Excuse me. Ooh. You're locked, huh? It took me a second. Pavement is rad. Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're doing well. So I think what I'm gonna do here is pitch the Witch Enchanter to Solitude, one of these. And we'll see where that gets us. The main reason we're doing that is just to guarantee this Overlord hits something that we care about. And they force it, pitching a Ponder. Okay. I am going to Wasteland them then. because them playing the basic island after brainstorming is telling me that they are like they're screwed. This is definitely it's unholy heat. Okay. Okay, they did have another land, so maybe I misevaluated the situation, but this is okay. This is okay. This is especially okay now. I think I just want to recruit for a Skyclave here. This might be a spot where we recruit for Cloak and Dagger actually to get some lifelink action in. Yeah, we'll do that. No, I see what I missed. They played the basic island because they brainstormed the spell onto the top of their deck that they needed for their Delvers to flip. That's the thing I missed. They do have face up on Holy Heat. I forgot about that. I was like, I feel like we knew something that's in their hand, but I couldn't remember what it was. Yeah, it's this Unholy Heat. So we could Cloak and Dagger. They Unholy Heat it. We attack, and then we could. Overlord it back, but that's probably just worse than like Overlord for Solitude, pitch Thalia to the Solitude, kill the Delver, just leave the heat in their hand for a while, and then like Cloak and Dagger can do something else later. I could also see keeping the Thalia, but I don't think that I want this Thalia though. Maybe I do. I guess it'll definitely get unholy heated. Hmm. This is tricky. Yeah, I definitely wish I just got a Skyclave. This makes it harder. Um, I think I'm getting rid of the Thalia. I think I would rather have something that can resemble a removal spell in my hands, even if it's currently limited by the fact that my opponent has an Unholy Heat in their hands. They might have to tap out. Maybe we get the Unholy Heat out of their hand another way. Who knows? Maybe they shuffle it away. Probably not. They are locked. That feels great to draw. Cutter. Do have a bobble. Okay. Okay. They would have had to have brainstormed into a daze, huh? I'm gonna make them have it. Oh no, they have this bauble card too, so that's one more card. But I think I'm supposed to just make them have it here, especially while consign isn't available. There we go. How's that trophy for you, gang? Let's fucking go. Ooh. I specifically didn't want to attack because the 2 damage doesn't matter that much, and I don't want my I would rather have my uh recruiters available to block if my Yorion gets countered. So that was on purpose. Let's fucking go. Whew. Okay. Thoughts. Those White Orchid Phantoms felt okay. Did I actually even I put I think I cast 1. I think in the first game, or it was one of the other games against that tempo against the cutter player. I turned my Caracas into a basic plains. It was game 2. It was game 2. I am trying to remember if I cast a single other White Orchid Phantom, and I think the answer might be no. Um, I don't think I was in a lot of spots where they would have been particularly good. Um, that game 3 against Cutter was probably the most high potential because of my opponent played the basic island on turn 1 and never had an opportunity to like brainstorm it away. Um, but trying to remember, okay, what were it was this was I'm trying to remember what my matchups even were. This was red white initiative. Its value is uh, nothing more than being an attacking flyer or a flying attacker. This was blue black. I kept them in over. I cut the Thalias first, but they're not good here. This was Allure Intel, not good there. This was Reanimator, not good there. This was Cutter, fine. I think probably. Yeah, I don't know. The most when I was like looking through like what the what the percentages look like earlier, and my best guess is that, like, lands is still around because for various reasons, it's incredible there. The welder cam lists are pretty light on basics. Um, I don't know if White Orchid Phantom is really the best way to be attacking that matchup, but I could see it. Um, so from my give me a second, sorry. So from the previous list that I was playing, basically, it was the second Cloak and Dagger that I was testing, Canoptic Scarab Swarm, and then one Disruptor Flute that was still in here because I had cut one of them to make room for the Cloak and Dagger. I feel like Scarab Swarm is sick, and I wouldn't want to cut it. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's tough because like I feel like barring something like Forge or like pure colorless no basics Tron being around, Wrath of the Skies, like the biggest thing that White Orchid Phantom stops is stuff like Urza Saga, and I feel like Wrath of the Skies is very good at that. White Orchid Phantom obviously does a whole lot else against like specifically lands. But that's not a matchup that I'm super concerned about. It's like reasonably popular, but I feel very comfortable in it, even if I don't have White Orchid Phantoms. And I feel like it might just be that right now, Phantom and Wrath, like Wrath covers most of the matchups that you would want Phantom for. Um, yeah, it's just if White Orchid Phantom is a card that you really want to cast as much as possible, which is why I feel like you should play 4 or 0, and sometimes you have to only play 3. But like I never believed in like the one White Orchid Phantom to recruit for when it's good, because like if that's the thing is like when White Orchid Phantom is good, you would spend your mana on nothing but White Orchid Phantoms if you could, and only being able to do it once actually makes that one copy way worse. Because you can't actually push the advantage that Phantom gives you unless you get another trigger out of it. Yeah, I think so. Like, I would probably also make this the second Cloak and Dagger, and I can't imagine cutting Canoptic Scarab Swarm right now. And this last card could be anything, I guess, I think is the reality. It could be the third Skyclave. It could be a Lauren. Yeah, I don't hate that suggestion. Um could be a Night Nurse. Any Night Nurses in the chat? I don't know if that card is good, but I kind of want to try it. Um, Cloak and Dagger's been decent. It's a tough card to use because like I haven't gotten it into play all that often. Every time I have, it's been like a fun but weird tension between like you the higher value the card is that you take with Cloak and Dagger, the less you can actually use it as a body. Um, and it's kind of nice when you get to actually use a 2/2 Death Touch lifelink and have all of those keywords matter. Um, but it's been nice. It's been versatile. A Night Nurse is different from Samwise in like 3 different ways that are all very important. Um, You could play a Bowmaster. It's just it doesn't. There aren't that many matchups where you're really excited about it. You wouldn't make it. It was like it's like don't think of it as a bullet. Think of like I need an 80th card. This is the card I'm gonna play, and you could it would be probably be fine. Um, but yeah, I have liked Cloak and Dagger. It's pretty slot efficient. I think is part of it. Is like it has something you can do against basically any deck. Um, the fact that it is like it's a piece of hand disruption that you can recruit for that isn't embarrassing in other situations, and I think that, like, the sum of all that is pretty important. It's a tricky card to use, as is any, like, Tide Hollow Scholar-like effect, where, like, again, the higher value the card is on it, the less you, like, want your creature to be a creature. You would rather it just, like, never die. Um, but, hey, I don't remember if I did, but I'm pretty sure I have formal weared Cloak and Dagger, and a 4/4 vigilance or 4/4 death touch lifelink vigilance is a hell of a body. Um Bowmasters is really good at dual. That's a good point. So Night Nurse has lifelink. The other big thing is that Samwise only works on cards that go to your graveyard from the battlefield. Night Nurse can get back a card that got countered. Yeah, or milled. Um, has the same timing restriction, but the fact that like you can get back a card that got thought seized. Like it goes to your graveyard from anywhere, from the stack, from the graveyard. If your opponent is Wasteland Strangling you, you can get back the card that they processed. And yeah, lifelink is just an incredibly good keyword right now. So that is why I'm like interested in it, because I never liked Samwise, but the main reason I didn't like Samwise is that it was so restrictive. It worked with fetch lands. It worked with like fetch lands, wastelands, like evoked solitudes, and that's it. Night Nurse works like if your opponent interacts with you in literally any way, it can do something. That won't always be worth 2 mana, but like that's sort of the reason I even think about it. So yeah, instead of surveil something, draw a card. Yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do. So I might play 1 or 2 of those next time I throw a list together. Oh, camera eye starting now. Boo. But I gotta go. I gotta get to sleep. Oh, chat, it's been great. We got a trophy. I'll post about it before I go to bed. But for now, I must go to bed. So thank you everyone for hanging out. Harain is around. So we're gonna go raid him. Yeah, I really don't think you need to have White Orchid Phantom right now. It was 100% mandatory you must play them back when Tron was the most popular deck. Now, I think it's a little more questionable. There's a bit more range. Especially because like there's a lot of reasons to be playing Thalia right now, and it's hard to have Thalia and White Orchid Phantom in the same deck. We obviously are here, but like they cover some like there's only so many okay 2 drops you can play. The 5th best TNT streamer. All right. Thank you everybody for hanging out. I will be back next Thursday with more stuff. Last stream before Fantastic Art gets bans. Yeah, anyway. Thank you everybody. Have a good night.